Story 1. I would have my secret police monitor public toilets and make people who urinate on the seats and leave feces everywhere disappear. Story 2. Most forms of intrusive advertising should be eliminated. Any billboards that disrupt natural environments should be removed. Website advertisements must be limited to side panels and make up no more than 15% of the total site, because mobile websites that become entirely advertisements while you are scrolling are unacceptable. Television advertisements should occupy only a small, established percentage of a program's total runtime. Gas station pump advertisements should be prohibited or subject to strict penalties. Story 3. Advertising addictive products, that is, gambling and alcohol, would be prohibited. People could still use those products, but companies would not be allowed to advertise them. Story 4. Every apartment and duplex would be required by law to have top-notch soundproofing against noise from neighbors and from outside. I believe this would significantly improve morale and working conditions by enhancing residents' quality of life. I would ban thin walls, ceilings, and floors. Story 5. I would mandate that all lights be turned off for 1 hour at night, at least once each quarter. Everyone should have the opportunity to see the stars occasionally without traveling to remote locations. Story 6. In some countries, throwing litter on roads or sidewalks is not taken seriously. This should be banned. Everyone should dispose of trash at home or in public bins. Keep the streets clean. Story 7. I wouldn't ban things, but I would force studios to make the movies and shows I wanted, starting with a proper adaptation of Stephen King's The Dark Tower series. Story 8. Eliminate cryptic statements. I would standardize all bills and statements so they are clear and easy to understand, especially medical bills. Story 9. We ban overpriced medicine. If you want to sell medicine in my country, lower the price. If you disagree, we will produce our own. Story 10. Private equity and similar concepts should not be used to acquire businesses for the purpose of running them into the ground. That should be illegal. Everything should be done in good faith and with long-term success in mind. Story 11. Advertising screens. I am sick of everything being turned into big flashing sale advertisements. I want a smart option. No more scanning or app downloads and no more Hewlett-Packard printer apps. Story 12. I do not know. Maybe James Bond movies. It seems dictators are often overthrown in those. I do not want people getting cute. Story 13. Mobile ads and intrusive ads in general. Ban pickups above a certain size. You are not hauling anything that requires a giant pickup. I would also ban something silly like the electric slide. Any protest against me would consist of people performing the electric slide, and it would be amusing to watch. Story 14. Whatever it was that allowed me to become a dictator. Seriously, that is not a healthy thing to have in the world. Story 15. Not returning shopping carts is like a 3-generation gulag, similar to North Korea. Story 16. Planned obsolescence. You make your product last forever. If it can't be made to last that long, you make it last as long as possible and replacements are free. Story 17. I would ban social media algorithms that sow distrust and hatred between groups to increase advertising revenue and platform engagement. Insider trading in Congress. Sending tax money to another country while citizens die from preventable causes due to lack of health care. Gerrymandering of voting districts to favor predominantly white and wealthy areas. Signing laws that hide unrelated provisions in a bill. White light-emitting diode vehicle headlights, and predatory loans for higher education and housing. Story 18. Touchscreens in cars can be distracting. Keep your eyes on the road, not the screen. Use muscle memory and touch to operate controls. Story 19. It would be great if someone were named President Richard Tater. Story 20. Make money through online engagement. Stop paying for clicks or influencers. Story 21. Companies are not considered people and therefore may not lobby the government or make large campaign donations through super political action committees. My dictatorship has elections for other government posts. Story 22. Live-action remakes of animated movies. Conversely, I would mandate Muppet remakes of live-action movies. Story 23. Preparing mobile orders while I am standing right there waiting for my black coffee. Story 24. What's the point? Rich people are going to do it anyway. Wait, can we ban them? Story 25. I would ban disobedience to the dictator. Also, do not mention dick or tater in any jokes. Story 26. Wreaking havoc in a store where you are shopping. Leaving a scene like a bomb went off, tearing up shelves and causing similar damage. Life in prison for inconsiderate motherfuckers. Story 27. Restore the original Star Wars trilogy. Ban the changes. Story 28. Bluetooth speakers in public areas such as the beach, public transportation, and hiking trails. Story 29. Those stupid national days like, oh, it is National Sibling Day or Happy Wide Receiver Day. I would also ban small talk and the phrase, how was your weekend? Story 30. First, ban the designated hitter at all levels. Second, ban daylight saving time. If I were dictator of a country with a large longitudinal span, such as the United States of America, I would ban time zones as well. It would be the same time everywhere. Francisco Franco put Spain on Central European time more than 80 years ago, and they did not attempt to change it back after his death. Third, ban new passenger airline routes shorter than 500 miles. We will build up express intercity rail service to replace short flights. Story 31. No more fake pockets. All pants, skirts, dresses, and rompers will have functional pockets. Story 32. People giving their own commentary aloud in movie theaters. Story 33. Eliminate all tax exemptions so everyone pays their fair share. Story 34. Not picking up after your dog and leaving used gum anywhere other than a trash can. Story 35. Use your turn signals every time and make the turn when they are blinking. Story 36. Permanent unequivocal ban on any donations in cash or in kind by any entity that is not an individual person, with a cap of $500. Story 37. I would impose term limits on all elected officials, require full disclosure of all political donations, and ban corporate and political action committee donations over $10,000. Story 38. Daylight saving time. Work weeks longer than 30 hours. Sneakers that cost $200 or more. For-profit health care. The American penal system. Trophy hunting and fishing. Fireworks. Tax shelters. Story 39. Speakerphones. Hold the damned thing to your ear. It's not a Star Trek communicator. Story 40. Influencers and low-quality reality shows like The Kardashians. Story 41. All warning labels. Let us weed out the idiots who need them. On a semi-serious note, remove the extra technology in vehicles and return to buttons and small liquid crystal display screens with actual sweeping gauges. People need to remember they are driving a piece of machinery sharing the road with others instead of scrolling TikTok on a phone with wheels. Story 42. I would ban grocery stores from having different layouts. Every store would carry the same types of products in the same locations. Story 43. If you are caught littering, automatic human trash can for 3 days. Story 44. Stop excluding job skills training from public education. Provide practical skills that prepare children to create their future. Story 45. I'm so sick of YouTube advertisements. I'm trying to watch an autonomous sensory meridian response video to fall asleep, only for an extremely loud, unskippable advertisement to appear. Story 46. Trucks that are unnecessarily large. You are 5 feet 10 inches tall and look like you need a ladder to get into your vehicle. That pickup has the same size bed as a smaller truck but takes up 3 times the space. You bought a lift kit meant for off-road mudding, but the closest this truck gets to dirt is the mulch outside the office where you work. You are not a handyman. You are a caricature of one. People who think those trucks are cooler because they are bigger do not understand real workers. Do not get me wrong. Larger trucks can be useful and often haul a lot. But because of an oversaturation of drivers demanding bigger trucks, market research is skewed. As a result, finding a truck that does not tower over the average consumer has become next to impossible without shopping for something 10 or more years old. Most of the ones I have seen do not fit into a single parking space and are often parked across 4 spaces toward the back of parking lots. On top of that, engineers have made great improvements in fuel economy, but these trucks have largely ignored those gains because of their extra mass. These trucks are huge and dangerous because of blind spots, including the front blind spot that could hide a child standing directly in front of the vehicle. They are also more likely to roll over because of a high center of gravity, and they are obnoxious. They have some commercial uses, but if I were a dictator, sorry, Todd, you would have to take the Prius to buy your wife ice cream and use about 12 fewer gallons of gas on the way. I will probably be criticized for this, but I stand by it. Sorry to anyone named Todd. I usually use that name as a placeholder. Story 47. Those stickers that do not come off completely and leave a residue. Story 48. I would ban charges for medication. All medication would be free. No one should ever suffer because of a short paycheck, temporary unemployment, or inflation. I would ban tuition fees. University would be free if an applicant meets the university's entrance exam score requirement, which the university will determine. Anyone should be able to attend university regardless of finances. The entrance exam requirement will ensure that those entering are prepared for 4 or more years of university-level study and are not just there to waste time. I would also ban live-action Disney remakes and only allow original stories going forward. This one is personal. Story 49. Walking slowly and without purpose while others follow. Story 50. Politicians at any level can lie in their campaign ads, speeches, press releases, and in all official state government business, proceedings, memorandums, and so on. If I were a dictator, my cronies and I would be straightforward about what we were doing. Story 51. I would ban mosquitoes and eradicate them. They are the most annoying insects on Earth. Story 52. Non-disclosure agreements are an absolute violation of the First Amendment when the legal system enforces them. Story 53. Treat stock market speculation as it is. Corporations should be held responsible. Require every shareholder large enough to sit on a board of directors to assume their fair share of a company's debt if the company fails. Each individual would be responsible for their portion of the debt, similar to student loan obligations. Story 54. I would ban all social media and influencers. No more content creation outside of movies, television shows, books, and plays. Story 55. Texting while driving is unacceptable. There will be zero tolerance for it in my administration. Story 56. Loud vehicles, whether it is music, loud mufflers, or motorcyclists revving their engines, go straight to jail. No trial or hearing. Story 57. Changing the radio station when Billy Joel comes on. When I was in 8th grade, they let us listen to the radio during gym class. A classmate was scrolling through the stations and We Didn't Start the Fire came on. I asked her to leave it on, and she said, "Ew, I don't know what this is." That was 17 years ago, and I still do not think I have ever been so irate. Billy Joel is a universally beloved figure. Show some damn respect, you ignorant wench. Story 58. Telemarketing, cold calling, text messages, and email are completely outlawed. If you do not have prior written permission to contact someone, you may not do so. Although this should be punishable by death, in my benevolence I will settle for banishment to the Gulag. Story 59. Social media and opinion-based entertainment are masquerading as legitimate news. Bring integrity back to journalism. I see the irony. Please report the facts, not personal opinions or bias. Story 60. If you drive slowly in the left lane, you will be banned from driving. Story 61. Guns are not for safety, but to make it increasingly difficult to overthrow me. Story 62. Cheap, nasty lager like Carling and Foster's. I would reduce taxes on the really good German and Belgian beers. It is the only way to educate people. Story 63. Online gambling. I'm tempted to ban state lotteries and electronic keno, but it might be hard to put that toothpaste back in the tube. Casinos could operate legally and be well regulated, of course. Story 64. All those giant pickup trucks and sport utility vehicles are never actually used for anything other than commuting and grocery shopping. Make vehicles reasonably sized again. Story 65. Unacceptable behavior on public transport includes putting feet on seats, smoking or vaping, loud speakerphone conversations, playing music out loud, harassing other passengers, and having strong body odor. Story 66. I would ban free healthcare for members of Congress. Let them deal with the messed up system like the rest of us. Story 67. I smoke cigarettes and similar products. Vaping devices do not really bother me. Story 68. Do not chew with your mouth open, except for people with physical or developmental differences that prevent them from avoiding it. Story 69. Owning any pickup truck larger than a Ford F-150 without a commercial driver's license. Story 70. I would ban restaurants and other food establishments from asking customers for their full names and phone numbers when placing a carry-out order in person. Story 71. Not washing hands after using the toilet. I condemn anyone who does this. Story 72. Religion. Installing oneself as the supreme authority is a major goal of dictators. Story 73. Playing audio or videos in public without headphones, yelling into a cell phone, and using Bluetooth speakers are inconsiderate. Story 74. Can I ban a person? If so, ban the Kardashians. We must never speak their name again. Story 75. People using their phones in restaurants. I don't want to be in your "this is what I'm shitting out later" video, and I don't give a shit about who you're talking to. You aren't important enough to disrupt the experience I'm paying for. I will start playing Disney music on my phone, so you can't monetize whatever content you're trying to film in this restaurant. Story 76. I would ban slumlords. Taxes would fund maintenance when owners cannot maintain the buildings. The title would transfer to the state until the former owner can buy it back. Rent would go to the state during that time. If the former owner cannot buy it back but someone else can and can prove they have sufficient income to maintain the building appropriately, they may apply for ownership. This ensures people will not be homeless or in danger because of reckless or neglectful property owners who refuse to make meaningful repairs. Story 77. Let's see. Ads on streaming services. Ads on YouTube. Ads on smart fridges. Ads for online gambling. The "we're sorry we upset you" Carol ad and similar targeted apologies that feel creepy. Mobile games with too many ads. Wikipedia guilt-tripping or clickbaiting readers for donations. Christmas lights that flash on and off every 5 seconds. Lobbying and political bribery. Story 78. Using speakers in public to talk, watch videos, or listen to music. Visible logos on clothing. Story 79. Using the word literally when you mean figuratively. Story 80. Cigarettes must be banned immediately. This is non-negotiable. No one should have to endure someone else's cigarette addiction or be exposed to secondhand smoke. Support for people with addiction will be government-funded. Story 81. Loud vehicles like General Motors Denali's with backfire tuning would get you sent to the gulag. Story 82. Gender reveal parties will use a mystery box format. The gender designation will be randomized like a gotcha event. Story 83. I would limit how many social media posts a person could make. People could view content all day but would be limited to 3 posts per day. I believe the quality of content would improve, and people would naturally spend less time on the platform because there would be less filler to wade through. It might be similar to when people read the newspaper in the morning and then went about their day. Story 84. Dogs are allowed in apartment buildings and attached houses. However, if your rigorous application to adopt a dog is accepted by the government agency that regulates dog ownership, you will be provided with affordable detached housing. Story 85. I hate how people on reality television become celebrities. Story 86. Dress codes in a workplace that are not personal protective equipment do not justify restricting ordinary clothing. Nothing actually prevents a person from making a purchase at a store just because they are wearing a t-shirt and sweatpants instead of what you are insisting. If it is for hazard purposes, that is, you wear steel-toe boots in an environment where injury is a strong possibility, then fine. Otherwise, kiss my ass. People are already more or less forced to be there, so let them dress how they will. Story 87. Instagram and Facebook create false representations of reality. Story 88. Fluorescent lights and vinyl siding. There would be a tax deduction for replacement costs, but property owners would have exactly 1 year to complete the work or face imprisonment. Story 89. Plastic takeaway food containers with differently shaped lids. Story 90. If you have a speaker at the beach, lake, river, or mountains, you will go straight to jail. Story 91. Pharmaceutical advertisements could lead to execution by lethal injection. Story 92. Mention television or news reporting about that group of women whose name begins with K. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.